July 11th, 1944, early afternoon, a sunken road outside Saint-Lô, Normandy. Dust hangs in the hedgerows like smoke that forgot how to move. The heat presses down, thick and wet, carrying the smell of crushed leaves, hot oil, and cordite. Oberstleutnant Heinrich Vogel of the 352nd Infantry Division stands half-crouched beneath a canopy of branches, binoculars raised, eyes tracking the narrow road that cuts through the bocage. Somewhere to the west, American artillery thumps at irregular intervals, measured, patient, confident. Vogel lowers the glasses as a sudden engine note cuts through the ambient noise. Not a truck, not a tank. Lighter, faster. A high, insistent whine that rises and falls as the vehicle shifts gears. "Jeep," murmurs his adjutant, Lieutenant Ernst Keller. The American reconnaissance vehicle bursts into view around the bend, olive drab, mud-splashed, windshield folded down, a white star half obscured by dust. Two soldiers ride inside, no doors, no armor. One drives with one hand loose on the wheel, the other rests a Thompson submachine gun across his lap. They are relaxed, too relaxed. Vogel's jaw tightens. The ambush is quick and efficient. A single burst from an MG-42 rips through the hedgerow, the Jeep slews sideways, engine screaming as it jumps the shallow ditch and dies in a cloud of steam. One American is thrown clear, the other slumps forward over the wheel. Silence follows, broken only by the ticking of hot metal. German infantry move in cautiously, weapons raised. Vogel steps out onto the road, boots crunching on gravel, eyes fixed not on the bodies, but on the vehicle. Up close, it is smaller than he expected, squat, functional. The paint is worn thin at the edges, the hood bears scratches from branches, dents from careless use. It is not a parade machine, it is a working tool. "Secure it," Vogel orders. The soldiers obey, dragging the wounded American to the side, disarming him. A medic is called. Vogel barely notices. He circles the Jeep slowly, as if inspecting a captured animal. He crouches and lifts the hood. The engine compartment is astonishingly uncluttered. Components are exposed, accessible. No unnecessary covers, no over-engineered housings. Vogel recognizes the layout immediately, not because it is familiar, but because it is obvious. Everything is where it needs to be. Keller kneels beside him. "Four-cylinder," he says, "flathead, simple." "Too simple," Vogel replies. He reaches in, fingers brushing the metal. The engine is still hot. He traces the path of the fuel line, the wiring. There is room to work, room to repair. He imagines a soldier with minimal training fixing this on the roadside with a wrench and a cigarette clenched in his teeth. Vogel straightens and looks down the road. "How many of these do they have?" he asks quietly. Keller hesitates. "Intelligence estimates tens of thousands, maybe more." Vogel nods once, absorbing it. He has commanded men since Poland. He has watched German industry strain itself into exhaustion. Precision machines built slowly, carefully, expensively. He knows how long it takes to produce a Kübelwagen, how often parts fail, how specialized the repairs are. This Jeep is the opposite of that philosophy. He climbs into the driver's seat. The canvas is torn, the seat springs creak. The dashboard is bare metal, with simple gauges bolted directly in place. No ornamentation, no concessions to comfort beyond necessity. He turns the ignition. The engine coughs once, then roars back to life. Vogel freezes, hand still on the key. It should not start, not after that impact, not after being shot at. And yet, it idles smoothly, as if impatient to be moving again. He presses the clutch. It responds cleanly.
He shifts into first. The gear engages without protest. A realization settles over him, heavy and unwelcome. This machine was not built to last forever. It was built to work everywhere, be fixed by anyone, and be replaced without ceremony. Vogel drives it a few meters down the road and back. The suspension absorbs the ruts easily. The steering is direct. There is no sense of fragility. He stops and cuts the engine. Behind him, a group of German soldiers watches in silence. They are lean, dust-covered, their uniforms patched and faded. Their vehicles, what few remain, are hidden deep in the woods, immobilized more often by lack of fuel than enemy fire. Vogel steps out and looks at them. This, he says, resting a hand on the Jeep's hood, is not bravery. It is industry. No one responds. They don't need to. He knows in that moment that no tactical brilliance, no last-ditch counterattack can overcome what this vehicle represents. An army that can lose machines casually because it can replace them effortlessly is an army fighting a different war entirely. Vogel orders the Jeep marked and sent to the rear for evaluation. As it is driven away, engine humming, tires throwing dust, he watches it disappear down the hedgerow-lined road. The sound fades. The artillery resumes. And standing there, amid the broken landscape of Normandy, Oberstleutnant Heinrich Vogel understands something with sudden clarity. Germany has not lost because its soldiers are weaker. Germany has lost because it cannot build this again and again and again. The captured Jeep does not go far. Less than 3 kilometers behind the line, beneath a stand of apple trees camouflaged with netting, Vogel finds it again that evening. A Feldwebel has parked it beside 2 weary German Kubelwagens, their pale yellow paint dulled by dust and exhaust soot. One sits with its hood open, tools scattered on a tarp. The other rests on flat tires, stripped for parts. The contrast is immediate and brutal. Vogel approaches as mechanics work under a flickering lantern. The Kubelwagen's rear-mounted engine is exposed, compact but cramped, every component tightly packed. One mechanic curses softly, knuckles bleeding as he struggles to reach a stubborn bolt. "How long?" Vogel asks. "Another hour, Herr Oberstleutnant," the Feldwebel replies, "if the gasket holds. If not, tomorrow." Vogel nods, then turns towards the Jeep. Its hood is already open. 2 soldiers, neither trained mechanics, stand beside it, one holding a wrench, the other consulting a thin American manual captured from the glove compartment. They are not fixing it, they are learning it. "What's wrong?" Vogel asks. "Nothing, sir," one answers. "We just wanted to see how it's built." That answer lingers. Vogel gestures for them to step back and leans in again. He notes the standardized bolts, the clear labeling, the generous tolerances. This engine was designed not merely to function, but to forgive mistakes. A stripped thread would not doom it. A missing part could be substituted. It assumes scarcity at the front and compensates for it. Vogel straightens and looks down the road. "How much fuel?" he asks. The Feldwebel checks a clipboard. "Roughly half a tank, sir. We captured it nearly dry." "And range?" "Over 300 kilometers on a full tank, more if driven carefully." Vogel exhales through his nose. In the past week alone, his unit has abandoned 3 vehicles due to fuel shortages. Not destroyed, abandoned. Perfectly serviceable machines left behind because supply trucks never arrived. Allied fighter bombers roam the roads freely now, turning any movement into a gamble. The Jeep, by contrast, seems indifferent to scarcity. It sips fuel. It accepts poor gasoline. It runs even when mistreated. Later that night, Vogel sits at a folding table inside a commandeered farmhouse, studying reports by candlelight. Outside, the distant rumble of American armor echoes through the countryside. The sound is constant now, like an approaching tide. Keller enters quietly. "Sir, Divisional Headquarters confirms. The Americans are advancing again tomorrow. Armor and motorized infantry." Vogel nods without looking up. Of course they are. He pushes the papers aside. His mind is no longer on troop movements or defensive lines. It is on factories, on rail.
By late July, the hedgerows around Saint-Lô are gone. Not cleared, but obliterated. American air power has turned the countryside into a scarred lattice of craters and broken timber. Operation Cobra is underway, and the front no longer moves in lines. It fractures, collapses, reforms, always farther east. Oberstleutnant Heinrich Vogel rides in the passenger seat of the captured Jeep as Keller drives, the engine's steady hum a constant beneath the thunder overhead. P-47 Thunderbolts streak across the sky, their engines howling, diving toward roads and columns with mechanical precision. Vogel grips the side of the seat as the Jeep bounces over churned earth. He does not curse the lack of armor. He notes instead how quickly they are moving. They pass a German supply dump in ruins, burned trucks, scattered crates, fuel drums ruptured and leaking into the soil. The smell of gasoline is overwhelming. Vogel orders a stop and steps out, boots sinking into the mud. "This," he says quietly, gesturing at the wreckage, "is what happens when logistics depend on hope." Keller says nothing. They continue east, relaying orders, scouting fallback positions. The Jeep never falters. It does not overheat. It does not demand attention. It simply works. At a crossroads, they encounter a battalion commander from another division. The man stares at the Jeep with open curiosity. "Captured?" he asks. "Yes," Vogel replies. The commander circles it once, then laughs bitterly. "We build jewels," he says. "They build tools." That night, Vogel attends a staff meeting in a cellar beneath a ruined schoolhouse. Maps are spread across a table, weighted down by empty ammunition boxes. The faces around him are drawn, eyes sunken, uniforms streaked with dust and sweat. Reports come in rapidly. Units outflanked, fuel gone, communications cut. American columns appear where they are not expected, supplied and reinforced with alarming speed. When Vogel mentions the Jeep, some officers bristle. "It's just a vehicle," one snaps. "A symbol means nothing." Vogel meets his gaze evenly. "It is not a symbol," he says. "It is a calculation." He explains, calmly, precisely what he has observed. Repair times, fuel consumption, part standardization, the ability to operate with minimal training and infrastructure. Silence follows. Finally, an older general speaks. "We knew this in theory," he says softly, "but theory does not stop tanks." "No," Vogel replies, "but it explains why they keep coming." As the meeting disperses, Vogel lingers over the map. He traces the American advance with a finger, noting how each thrust is supported by roads saturated with supply. There are no pauses long enough to regroup meaningfully. No gaps that stay open. The war has become arithmetic, and Germany is running out of numbers. Days later, Vogel receives orders to withdraw again. This time, there is no pretense of holding ground. It is a race to avoid encirclement. The Jeep is loaded with maps, radios, and exhausted officers. It carries them through the night, headlights blacked out, engine steady. Once, it stalls briefly in deep mud. Keller restarts it without hesitation. They are moving again in seconds. Behind them, German vehicles are abandoned one by one, out of fuel, out of parts, out of time. At dawn, Vogel stops the Jeep on a ridge overlooking a valley choked with American armor. Columns stretch as far as he can see.
dust rising in continuous plumes. He steps out, removes his cap, and wipes sweat from his brow. "It's over," Keller says quietly. Vogel does not answer immediately. He watches the endless movement below, the trucks, the tanks, the jeeps weaving effortlessly between them. "No," he says at last. "This ended the moment this machine rolled off an assembly line." The ridge does not hold. By the following afternoon, American units crested from the west, their advance guarded by armor and air cover so dense it feels rehearsed. Vogel's battalion withdraws in fragments, dissolving into smaller groups moving independently through the countryside. Command, once centralized and deliberate, becomes instinctive and reactive. The Jeep remains with Vogel. It is no longer merely transport. It is the only reliable constant in a collapsing system. They stop at a small village abandoned by civilians days earlier. The church steeple lies cracked across the square. Pigeons flutter from broken windows as the Jeep rolls in, engine idling softly. Vogel orders a brief halt. Men drink from canteens. Keller checks the map. The radio crackles with partial transmissions, call signs without responses, coordinates without units to receive them. Vogel steps away from the group and sits on a stone wellhead. He pulls his notebook from his tunic pocket and writes again, more deliberately this time. "We planned for battles. They planned for continuity." He hears footsteps and looks up. A young lieutenant stands nearby, staring at the Jeep. "Sir," the officer asks, hesitant, "why do they have so many of these?" Vogel considers the question carefully. "Because they decided early," he says, "that war is won by movement more than by position." The lieutenant nods, not entirely understanding, but sensing the weight behind the answer. Later that night, the battalion attempts to cross a narrow bridge under cover of darkness. American flares bloom overhead, bathing the riverbank in white light. Artillery follows almost immediately. The crossing collapses into chaos. Vogel and Keller wait until the last possible moment before gunning the Jeep forward. Shells land close enough to rock the vehicle. Shrapnel rattles against the body. The Jeep does not slow. On the far back, Vogel orders it off the road and under trees. He cuts the engine. For a moment, there is only the sound of distant explosions and the cooling metal ticking softly. Keller exhales. "If we were in anything else," Vogel finishes the thought, "we would still be on the wrong side of the river." The realization is no longer painful, it is clarifying. 2 days later, Vogel receives a message that higher headquarters has effectively ceased to function. Commanders are to act independently to preserve their men where possible. It is the closest thing to an admission that Germany has left the realm of strategy. Vogel gathers his remaining officers in a barn lit with lanterns. He speaks plainly. "There will be no breakout, no counterattack. We will move east and surrender when contact is made. I will not throw your lives away for symbols." No one argues. The surrender occurs at dawn. An American patrol approaches cautiously, Jeep in the lead, followed by infantry. The symmetry is not lost on Vogel. He steps forward, hands visible, helmet removed. An American captain returns the gesture. Formalities are brief, weapons are stacked, orders are given calmly, efficiently. As they wait to be escorted to the rear, Vogel watches the American Jeep idle nearby. Its crew chats casually, one lighting a cigarette, the other checking a map. The captain notices Vogel's gaze and follows it. "Good vehicle," he says conversationally. Vogel nods. "Yes," he replies, "it is." The captain smiles, misinterpreting the tone. "Gets the job done." Vogel does not correct him. As he is led away, Vogel looks once more at the Jeep, dusty, dented, unremarkable, and he understands fully now that the war's outcome was written not in speeches or doctrines, but in factories that never slept and machines that never demanded reverence. Germany had believed in excellence. America had believed in scale, and scale had won. The march to the rear is orderly. American infantry flanked the column of prisoners with rifles slung low, alert but unhurried. The road is crowded with movement. Supply trucks rolling east, ambulances heading west, jeeps everywhere, weaving through the flow like blood through arteries. Vogel walks with his hands free, coat unbuttoned, cap tucked under his arm. He studies the machinery around him not as an enemy officer now, but as a witness. At a temporary holding area, Vogel's processed quickly. Name, rank, unit. No interrogation beyond the essentials. He is directed to sit beneath a canvas awning with other captured officers. Nearby, American mechanics service vehicles without ceremony. A jeep pulls in with a damaged fender. In less than 10 minutes, it is back on the road. No forms, no delay. Vogel watches closely. Another officer, a colonel from an armored division, sits beside him. "It's obscene," the man mutters. "The abundance." Vogel nods. "No," he says, "it's decisive." Days later, at a permanent POW camp, Vogel finds himself among men from every front: Normandy, Italy, the Ardennes,